Hello world. Today I wanted to talk about feeling your Qi. Now on this channel, basically I teach Qi Gong, which loosely translates to Qi, which is sort of energy, and Gong, which is work, energy work, right? And so one of the most important things in Qi Gong or Qi Gong meditation, energy work meditation, is figuring out how to feel your Qi. That's an essential first step. There's many other types of meditation that don't require you to feel your Qi, but in this meditation, you do need to feel your Qi, and that's a very important first step. Now, for people that are having troubles with this, or have maybe done a couple of my first meditation classes but haven't felt the Qi yet, I sort of wanted to help them along because I realized that some people just aren't feeling the Qi, or it's not coming as quickly as they might have thought it would. So this is essentially what you need to do to feel your Qi. Now, a very important thing is you have to be consistent. So, I have a friend that I've been basically working with him for almost 3 weeks now, and he just started to feel his Qi. Now, I think that if I wasn't kind of continually pushing him and supporting him to practice and meditate, he probably would have given up by now. So it's very important that in the very beginning, you're consistent. I think he missed a couple of days, and as a result, the Qi didn't really build as quickly as we'd hoped. Another thing is the amount of time that you meditate. If you're only doing 5 or 10 minute meditations, you're probably not going to have the Qi build up as quickly, right? So we want to be increasing the time. It wasn't until he went from sort of 20 minutes on and off consistently to a few days where he was doing 30 minutes regularly, and the focus was really good. And then that's when the Qi started to build. Okay. Now, in the meditation classes that I teach, I have a series of 1 through 5 meditation classes where we open up the microcosmic orbital. The first step of the meditation is to focus on the middle dantian, which is just below the solar plexus, above the belly button. It's just right around this area, in the middle dantian. And that's where you begin to focus the Qi. The Qi here, when you focus the Qi here, that's sort of an easy place to feel because it's a small energy center in the body. So there's a sort of a small area for the Qi to fill. And some people even feel it after the first meditation. And then what happens is the Qi should drop down to the lower dantian. Now, one thing that my friend didn't get is that he said, oh, there's a gurgling. And I was like, oh, that's the Qi dropping from the middle dantian down to the lower dantian. So when he was, when that happened, he was just like, oh, well, no, that's probably because I'm hungry. I didn't eat breakfast. Or, oh, no, that was probably because I just sort of started eating some food and I was digesting. It has nothing to do with the Qi. However, in my experience, when the Qi drops from the middle dantian to the lower dantian, it's usually accompanied with some gurgling. And that happens in the first 1 to 3 meditation sessions in the first 3 days, usually. Okay? So if you do feel some gurgling, what's happened is the Qi's dropped from the middle dantian down to the lower dantian. And now you need to bring your focus down to the lower dantian. That's often where people can sometimes run into trouble, because the Qi then disappears for a while, because the lower dantian, which is below the belly button, takes a much longer time to fill up that area full of Qi. And so what you want to do is, again, just be consistent, and then on the inhale, really try to clear the mind, and on the exhale, focus. Another thing that my friend ran into as a problem was that when he was focusing on the lower dantian, he would also accompany with a lot of muscle tension, because he's like, oh, I want to feel something, so I'm going to place my focus there, and then he would tense up the stomach, and then that would sort of create this feeling in the lower stomach, which is this feeling of tension. It wasn't for another week or so of sort of getting him to try to relax the belly and just really use the mind, not the muscles, to make this happen. So on the inhale, clearing the mind, and then I started to say, well, why don't you just, instead of just sort of think about there, just try to almost imagine your whole brain going into your lower belly. Like, just start to think from there. It's almost like you're thinking from that part of your body. And when you're exhaling, you're actually looking at that part of the body and then trying to actually move your mind into that part of your body. And so as you do that, you might start to notice a stronger connection. It wasn't until a few days of really focusing for about 30 minutes on the exhale and then clearing the mind on the inhale that he started to feel Qi, which he started to describe as a ball of air, in the lower belly. You can feel full, it can feel sort of like a tension, but of course we're trying not to be muscle tension. It can feel cold, it can feel hot, right? But once that happens, now you've got the Qi there, and now you have something to focus on. And why having the Qi is essential for Qi Gong meditation is Well, there's a couple fold. One is that once the Qi's there, you're going to find that meditations become much more interesting and engaging. And you'll actually want to sit in the meditation because you want to see what your Qi is going to do, how it's going to move along your different meridians. Another really interesting part about it, of course, is that as the mind goes into the body and the Qi increases in its feeling, you're essentially moving the energy from your brain, your centralized nervous system, and decentralizing your thinking so that you feel more and think less. And so what ends up happening is you're going to find your mind calms down significantly once you begin to feel your Qi. And now you have a place to focus on. Okay? Now, when you're building the Qi or feeling the Qi, what you're probably also going to notice is on the inhale, when you clear the mind, you're still going to feel that Qi, but it's going to start to dissipate on the inhale because you're trying to clear your focus. You're trying to open your mind on the inhale. And then when you exhale, you're going to start to feel that Qi slowly starts to condense. But there's an overlap. So on the inhale, you're still going to be feeling the Qi at the beginning of the inhale and then it will start to dissipate. And then on the exhale, it's going to take a little while for you to feel that Qi to re-condense. So you might notice also that your breaths become longer in order to really get that feeling of the Qi condensing and then releasing. Okay? Now, of course, if you can breathe through your nose during the meditation, that's ideal. However, in the beginning, if you have to breathe through your mouth, that's okay. But of course, it's much better to do so with your mouth. And then I always meditate with my tongue to the roof of the mouth. Okay? And just try it out. And if you're having problems feeling the Qi, just make sure that you're consistent. You're doing it for a long enough period of time. And if you want to learn more about the meditation, then I've put a link down for my first meditation class in the link below. And if you have any questions, then just throw me a comment and ask about any questions you might have about feeling your Qi. Because once you start to feel your Qi, then you're definitely on the right path with your Qi Gong meditation.